those two buttons. This is where you turn off the chat. And I do this, I don't know, you don't have to, but I can between the camera share so you can figure
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Good morning. Happy Friday to you.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
All right, John, you 5 minutes?
You may.
Seven, Katie?
We will let her do that.
Judge, this isn't her first rodeo. Is it anytime we could any chance we could do the IA in absentia?
Let's look. It's a felony. She's being held on a probation. Let me take a look. 3. Do we have the public defender there so we can talk about it?
You know what, Your Honor, on our end, we don't. Let me go check the pretrial. Maybe he's working or she's working on something. Give me 1 second.
You know
please.
what? That's all right. Don't worry about it. I'll just put this file to the side right now, and then once the PD gets there, we'll talk about Miss Southern. Okay,
Ms. Holland?
ready. Hey, ma'am, can I get your full name?
Dejanelle Isaiah Holly.
Ms. Holly, I'm seeing you this morning on a charge of assault. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. So you're in custody right now on a probation violation out of Superior Court. Are you serving some jail time?
Mhm.
So how much time do you have?
60 days.
All right. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna order that you be released as to this charge, but I will note that you're in custody on that matter. So you should have a video hearing on February 17th at 8:30 in the morning in Justice Court on this case, okay?
Mhm.
All right, you're excused. Article 217 is saying that it's a weekend. Holiday? Okay. No, that's okay. Hi, Mr. Cam.
Hey, Judge.
So we're talking about Miss Southern. She is refusing. It's at least the second time that she's refusing. And let's see, she's got a probation hold. And so Mr. Poston just wants to go forward and waive her appearance. Are you good with that?
Yeah, if the court feels like she needs to be present, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think she needs to be present since she's being held anyways on her probation case. So,
That's fine, Your Honor.
great. So she is charged with theft of means and burglary in the 3rd degree. And state's asking that I hold her on a $2,500 bond.
I'll just submit, Your Honor.
That's good.
The detainer doesn't make sense.
The what doesn't make sense?
I said with the detainer, that's fine.
Got it. Okay. All right. I'm going to order a $2,500 cash or secured bond released to pretrial if that bond is posted, monitoring or treatment. Legal defender is appointed and preliminary hearing date is scheduled for January 27th. Hi, sir. Can I get your full name?
Yeah, Sheldon Douglas Smith.
All right, Mr. Smith. I am seeing you this morning on a number of different matters. You've got some new felony charges of burglary in the 3rd degree and drug paraphernalia. Those are allegations from January 16th.
Those are 2 felonies.
2 felonies, yep. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I'm going to appoint the legal defender's office to represent you, and you've got counsel seated next to you for today's hearing. I'm also seeing you, sir, on a warrant out of Pima County Justice Court for shoplift from May 12th of 2024, and then I've got a whole stack of files out of Tucson City Court. So we'll deal with those misdemeanor matters next. As to these new felonies, the state is asking that I hold you on a $7,500 bond with pretrial services supervision. There's an active NVCA flag and 6 out of 6 on the scales. Mr. Cam, did you want to be heard on that?
Your Honor, just take note that the pretrial has indicated that the new offenses are non-violent in nature.
Okay.
Your Honor, did the court receive initial the interim complaints for this case?
I do have the interim complaint, yes.
I think the ones I got were corrupted. I don't know what's going on here. I don't see. Let's see, Sheldon Smith.
Yeah, it was from last night. He got continued.
That might be why I didn't make it over. The court could give me 1 second to look at last night's if I have access to it.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Judge.
The allegation is taking cigarettes from behind the counter at a Circle K with video.
Thank you, Judge. That's sufficient.
Okay. All right, so, sir, I'll order a $5,000 cash or secured bond released to pretrial if that bond is posted, monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial, no alcohol or illegal drugs, do not return to Circle K. We'll set the preliminary hearing for January 27th, but that hearing is very likely not going to happen on that date. You'll get a hearing at a later date. So if you do post your bonds, you need to make sure that you're in touch with pretrial so that you know when to get to court.
All right.
And then we'll deal with your misdemeanors now. So like I said, warrant for shoplifting out of justice court will hold you on a $100 cash bond on that. We'll appoint Douglas Taylor to represent you in justice court. Order that you not go back to that incident location, and you will have a hearing on Tuesday, January 21st at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in justice court. All right, and then city court matters. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2024 files, all in warrant status. These involve mostly shoplifting, criminal trespass, drug paraphernalia. So on all of those matters, I'm going to order that you be held on a $500 cash bond. Again, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Don't go back to any of those incident locations. I'll appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. And you're going to be seen in Tucson City Court on January 24th at 1:45. If you were to post your bonds and be out of custody, you would need to get to Tucson City Court on February 19th at 9:30 in the morning. All right, sir, you understand all of that?
Yeah.
Okay, you're excused. You're welcome.
Questions? Everybody on this side. Perfect. Put around. Pardon? Okay. At least you got it working.
Hi, ma'am. Can I get your full name?
Crystal Carter.
Mr. Carter or Miss Carter, I'm seeing you this morning on charges of domestic violence, 2 counts of disorderly conduct. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. So ma'am, pretrial services was not able to get in contact with your boyfriend, who it looks like is the lawful representative of the alleged victim, your minor age son. So I don't know what their position is on whether or not you can return to the residence at this time. I'm inclined to release you, but if you were to go back home and they don't want you to be there, you need to find somewhere else to go. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand.
All right, so I'm going to order that you be released on your promise to appear in court. I'm ordering that you commit no further acts of domestic violence. And ma'am, I'm ordering that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. Do you understand those orders?
Yes.
Right. And then you need to be in Pima County Justice Court February 18th at 8:30 in the morning, or a warrant can issue for your arrest, okay?
Okay.
All right, you're excused.
Thank you.
Joy. All the way out, now let's be ready.
Hi, sir, can I get your full name?
Jacob Lovejoy.
Mr. Lovejoy, I am seeing you this morning on a charge of domestic violence, disorderly conduct. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Sir, it looks like you're pending another domestic violence, disorderly conduct, and criminal damage charges with the same alleged victim.
No, this is a different victim.
Mhm.
This is my girlfriend.
Okay, okay. It does say not the same victim. You're right. Not the same. Okay. Pretrial services was not able to get in contact with her, so, or I'm sorry, it's with Dawn Trista. So,
Trista Dow
Ah.
is her name.
so I don't know what her position is on whether or not you two are living together, right?
Off and on. I've been staying there because it's been cold out. But,
Okay.
I mean, I have another place to go.
What's the Tucson Boulevard address? Is that her?
That's just my mailing. That's just my mailing address.
Okay.
She lives in Ora Valley.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to release you on your promise to appear in court. I'm ordering that you commit no further acts of domestic violence. And if you were to get in contact with Trista and she doesn't want to have contact with you, it needs to end at that point. Do you understand that?
If she is okay with me contacting her, it's okay.
Then I'm okay with it. All right.
Thank you.
And you need to be in Oro Valley City Court for 26th at 10:30 in the morning, or a warrant can issue for your arrest. All right.
Ora Valley City Court.
Yes, you're going to get paperwork with that information on it.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pringle?
Hi, sir. Can I get your full name?
Jonathan Douglas Pringle.
Mr. Pringle, I am seeing you this morning on charges of domestic violence assault, disorderly conduct, and criminal damage. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
The opposite, I mean, disorderly conduct. There was no assault. I didn't hit any, I didn't touch anybody.
They charged
I
you with
didn't touch
assault.
anybody. I didn't touch anybody.
Okay, well, you're gonna talk about that later, not right now. Right, so it looks like you had been residing with the alleged victim, Mr. Cook. Do you have somewhere else to go?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order that you be released on your promise to appear in court. I'm ordering that you commit no further acts of domestic violence and have no contact at this time with Mr. Cook. Don't go to his residence or workplace. I'll put in my order that you can return one time with a law enforcement escort to collect your personal belongings. If you've got things there, you would take my order to the nearest police station and have them go with you to get your things. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, I do.
And you need to be in Pima County Justice Court on February 18th at 8:30 in the morning, or warrant can issue for your arrest. All right? All right, you're excused. Hi, sir. Can I get your full name?
Clint Steven Szymanski.
Mr. Szymanski, I'm seeing you this morning on a charge of domestic violence assault. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Give me just a minute to look at your paperwork. So pretrial services was not able to get in contact with the alleged victim, your girlfriend Diana. So I don't know what her position is. Had you two have been living together?
Oh, yes.
If you were unable to go back to the residence with her, do you have somewhere else to go
That's my house.
at your house?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if she left or if she's still there. I don't know.
Okay. But she's not on the house. It's just you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to order that you be released on your promise to appear in court. I'm ordering that you commit no further acts of domestic violence. And if you were to get in contact with Diana and she doesn't want to have contact with you, it needs to end at that point. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And then you need to be in Pima County Justice Court on February 18th at 10:30 in the morning, or a warrant can issue for your arrest. All right.
Okay.
Okay. You're excused.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, can we come back to Venos?
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor,
This call will be recorded.
Yes.
excuse me, Your Honor, just to give you a heads up, I sent a revised rec on one of them. It should hit your email box any moment now.
Okay.
Call is no longer being recorded.
Yes.
That's on that phone number. Hey, sir, can I get your full name?
Daniel James Braswell.
Mr. Braswell, I am seeing you this morning on a charge of drug paraphernalia. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Actually, this is a warrant that you have out of Tucson City Court from 2022. I see you're being held on a probation violation out of Pima County Superior Court. You'll be seen separately on that. I'm not seeing you on that today. Superior Court will have a hearing with you probably sometime next week on that. As to this new drug paraphernalia charge, I'm going to order that you be released. But I will note that you're in custody on the probation matter. I'll appoint the city public defender at 9 o'clock in the morning. So if you're out of custody by then, you need to get to Tucson City Court. If you're in custody still, they'll have a non-transport review for you on this. All right?
So I ask a question real quick. Would I be released to pretrial services?
Not-
Probation?
I can't do anything about your probation case. You'll be seen in Superior Court on that, probably sometime next week.
Okay.
All right. Your excuse, sir.
Venus?
Hey, sir, can I get your full name?
Michael Andrew Venos.
Mr. Venos, I'm seeing you just for a warrant that you have out of Pima County Justice Court for a shoplift from July 7th of 2024. I know you're being held without bond on your failure to appear in Superior Court for your felony matter. I'm not seeing you on that today. You'll be seen separately in Superior Court on that, probably sometime next week. I'm going to order that you be released as to this charge, ordering that you do not return to the incident location. Your hearing in Justice Court on this shoplift is scheduled for February 18th at 8:30 in the morning. So if you end up out of custody on that date, you need to get to Justice Court. If you're in custody, they'll take you to a video hearing for that. Okay? All right, you're excused. Hi, sir, can I get your full name?
Armando Espinosa.
Mr. Espinosa, I am seeing you this morning on charges of domestic violence, disorderly conduct, and criminal damage. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty for you at this time and advise you that you're ordered to appear at all of your hearings. If you miss your hearings, they can go forward in your absence. Warrants can issue for your arrest. And if you're convicted at a trial and you can't be sentenced within 90 days of the conviction, you could lose your right to a direct appeal. So let's see, pretrial services did speak with the alleged victim, your father. He said he does not object to your release from custody, but he does not want contact with you at this time and doesn't want you to return to the residence. So do you have somewhere else to go?
No, ma'am.
Can you find somewhere else to go? Because you can't go back to your dad's house.
Yes, I can.
All right. If you need help with that, you can go to the Pima County Transition Center, which is the trailer that's just outside of the jail there. So when you're released, you can go there and they can help you figure out your housing situation. Okay. All right.
I can release you.
I'm releasing you. Yes. All right. So hold on. I'm going to give you some orders. So it's okay. It's being ordered that you be released on your promise to appear in court. I'm ordering that you have no contact at this time with your father. I'm ordering that you not return to his residence. I am going to put in my order that you can go back one time with a law enforcement escort so that you can get your personal belongings. So you would take my order to the nearest police station to the house and ask them to go with you to get your things, okay?
Okay.
And then you're gonna need to be in Tucson City Court on February 20th at 9:30 in the morning, or a warrant can issue for your arrest. You're gonna get paperwork with all of that information on it, all right?
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
You're welcome. You're excused, sir.
All right, thank you. You have a good day.
You too. Hi, ma'am. Can I get your full name?
Adriana Jesse Francisco.
Ms. Francisco, I'm seeing you this morning on 3 counts of domestic violence, disorderly conduct. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty for you at this time and advise you that you're ordered to appear at all of your hearings. If you miss your hearings, they can go forward in your absence. A warrant can issue for your arrest. And if you're convicted at a trial and you can't be sentenced within 90 days of the conviction, you could lose your right to a direct appeal. So, ma'am, let's see. We've got pretrial services did speak with the alleged victims, your sister and nephews. They do not object to your release from custody. However, they said that they do not want to have contact with you at this time, so you cannot return to the residence. Do you have somewhere else to go?
Yes, but I need a phone number from her that I can call, because I don't have a phone right now.
Well, you can't have contact with her.
Oh,
So,
can't my nephew do it?
no, you can't have contact. None of them
No,
want
no, can he talk to her? Can he?
No, they're all 3 listed victims, and all 3 of them told pretrial that they don't want to have contact with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order that you be released on your promise to appear in court, but I'm ordering that you have no contact with the 3 of them and that you not return to the residence. I am going to put in my order that you can return 1 time with a law enforcement escort. So what that means is you would take my order to the nearest police station to the house and have them go with you to get your things. Do you understand that?
Yes, can I ask who the 3 people are? Because I don't even know.
Your sister Michelle and your nephews Christopher and Joel.
Oh,
All right. So, and I'll put that on your paperwork so that you're clear about who you can't have contact with. So there's the Pima County Transition Center that is right outside of the jail there. You should go there when you get released, and they can help you get a phone. They can help you figure out what your housing's going to be. Okay.
yes, I was speaking about another nephew though. I can call her to get this number.
Yes, you can call your nephew, your other nephew. You just can't talk to those 3 people.
Okay, that's why I'm asking. So
Okay.
I was gonna call this other nephew.
All right. So, but go visit the transition center so they can help you out with that. Okay.
Okay,
All right. And then you need to be in Tucson City Court on February 20th at 9 o'clock in the morning. That information is going to be on your paperwork as well. All right.
okay,
Okay. You're excused, ma'am.
right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mason? Yes, I'm smiling. License, please.
Do what? Well, I'm gonna tell you what, I'd rather smile than be in a bad mood.
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
can I get your full name, please?
Melissa Don Mason.
Miss Mason, I am seeing you this morning on charges of domestic violence, assault, and disorderly conduct. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty for you at this time and advise you that you're ordered to appear at all of your hearings. If you miss your hearings, they can go forward in your absence. A warrant can issue for your arrest. And if you're convicted at a trial and you can't be sentenced within 90 days of the conviction, you could lose your right to a direct appeal. So I understand that we have a victim on the line that wanted to be heard. If you want to unmute yourself, you may need to press *6 to unmute. Tell me your name, please. Hi, sir. What's your name?
Antonio Valencia.
Okay, and what would you like me to know?
I'm not willing to press charges or anything. I would prefer her not come to the home. to cause fights. She's from Dallas. She moved out here about a month ago so we can start our life together. And this is a big misunderstanding that's occurred, but I just don't feel it's right for any charges to occur.
All right,
She
so
was the one that called the cops thinking that.
so that's a determination that I'm not able to make today. The charges are up to the prosecution and the assigned judge on the case as to whether or not these charges are going to go forward. But for now, they are. So did you say that she is or she is not welcome to return to the residence?
At this point, we would need to talk about it, like between us. She's fine to come here until she figures out what she wants to do. I would love to have a relationship with her, but I can't have domestic violence going in my home. I do love her. I want the life with her. It's her home to come to, as long as she's willing to be cooperative with me and understand that there's no fighting at all.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. All right. So, ma'am, I'm going to order that you be released on your promise to appear in court. I'm ordering that you commit no further acts of domestic violence. And you need to be in Tucson City Court on February 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon, or a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And if you do return to the residence and at some point Mr. Valencia wants you to go and doesn't want to have contact with you, you need to respect that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're excused.
Zipper.
I'll be there to pick you up.
Hi, sir. Can I get your full name?
Timothy Zipper.
Mr. Zipperer, I am seeing you on a warrant that you have out of Tucson City Court for drug paraphernalia. Wait, yeah, this is a warrant. It's from, the charge is from August 22nd of 2024, and then a failure to appear at your arraignment on that case. I see you're being held without bond right now on a probation violation out of, I think, a different county. So there's nothing I can do about that today. You're going to be held on that. You'll be seen separately to deal with that. As to this case, I'm going to order that you be released. And then if you're out of custody, you'll have to get to Tucson City Court on February 28th at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And if you were still in custody on this, the other matter, then you'll have a non-transport review for that hearing. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
All right, you're excused.
Do we have media, Judge? Their media on the Teams visit?
I don't see anybody. I mean, do we know who they may be, I'm not sure, but it's streaming, so.
That's right. So, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it
On YouTube, we're YouTube famous, Clayton.
Sir, can I get your name?
Good morning. My name is Daniel Hollander.
Mr. Hollander, I'm seeing you this morning on charges of burglary in the first degree, terrorism, interfering with an educational institution, and carrying a weapon on school grounds. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you've got counsel seated next to you for today's hearing. He's going to make an argument for you today. I'm going to hear from the state on their recommendation. They're recommending that I hold you on a $100,000 bond plus pretrial services. Mr. Poston?
Your Honor, correction. That was the one I sent, the updated one. The state is asking for $250,000.
Okay.
This individual is alleged to have entered an elementary school while he was armed with a loaded firearm. And then when confronted by staff and the police were eventually called, he said, the defendant allegedly stated, I'm here to cause a school shooting with children. The state is abjectly terrified by these allegations. This person brought a weapon into a school during the day. He had no business at that school. And this could have ended with mass casualties, Your Honor. This person presents a dire threat to our children as well as our greater community. $250,000.
Mr. Cam?
We're asking the court to take notice of the fact that pretrial services has indicated Mr. Hollander is level 1. He has no prior history. He has a residence with his father who's also willing to take third-party custody of him.
I'm going to order a $250,000 bond. It'll be cash or secured and released to pretrial services if posted, monitoring, or treatment as directed by pretrial. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. Do not go within 1,000 feet of a school, daycare facility, or park, and no contact of any kind with any minors. And we'll set the preliminary hearing date for January 27th. So that hearing is very likely not going to happen on that date. You'll get a hearing at a later date. So if you do post your bond, you need to make sure you're in touch with pretrial and with your attorney so that you know when to get to court. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand that, Your Honor.
All right, you're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Not right now.
Yes.
Mr. Hollander, that is not respect. Attorney's gonna come out and talk to you, okay?
Okay, yeah. I said the school shooting.
Don't, sir, don't say anything.
Your Honor, we're gonna have a slight delay. We have a situation going on in lower level.
Okay.
Lugo? Let's say, Your Honor, we're gonna go ahead and continue with Lugo Molina.
It's a Spanish interpreter matter, Your Honor.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Lugo?
Hi, ma'am. Can I get your full name?
Buenos días, señorita. ¿Me puede decir su nombre?
Sí, Linda Judy Lugo Molina.
Linda Judith Lugo Molina.
Ms. Lugo Molina, I am seeing you this morning on a couple of different matters. You've got new charges of aggravated DUI for having a suspended license, aggravated DUI with children under the age of 15, 2 counts, and 2 counts of child abuse.
Bueno, señora Lugo Molina, esta mañana usted está compareciendo ante la juez porque tiene diferentes acusaciones. Tiene una acusación nueva que es agresión por conducir bajo la influencia y con una licencia suspendida. También es un DUI agravado por conducir con menores de 15 años y eso son 2 acusaciones y también 2 acusaciones de abuso de menores.
You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And you've got counsel seated next to you for today's hearing.
Usted tiene el derecho de permanecer callada. Todo lo que diga puede y será utilizado en su contra. Usted tiene derecho de ser representada por un abogado y sí voy a nombrar al defensor público para que la represente en este caso. Y para el propósito de esta audiencia está sentado enseguida de usted un abogado.
Sí, está bien, gracias.
All right, thank you.
All right. The state is requesting a $20,000 bond with pretrial services supervision. I'm also seeing her on her probation violation for a 2022 DUI out of justice court that we will deal with next. But as to the felony charges, does defense want to be heard?
Sure,
May I, Your
yes.
Honor?
Yes.
Ok, señora, la Fiscalía está recomendando que se le fije fianza de $20,000 y que quede bajo la supervisión de los servicios previos al juicio. Y también veo que hay un quebrantamiento de la libertad condicional. Esto es un caso de DUI del 2022 y de eso vamos a hablar próximamente. Pero con respecto a las acusaciones por delito grave, la defensa quiere ser escuchado y dice que sí, va a hablar el abogado defensor.
Thank you, Judge. Just want to have the court take notice of the following. Ms. Lugo Molina has reported that she's been in Tucson for 8 years. She has a residence with her husband and children, and she's employed, Your Honor.
Dice el abogado defensor, quisiera hacer mención, su señoría, que la señora Lugo Molina ha sido residente de Tucson por los últimos 8 años y tiene o mantiene una residencia junto con su esposo y sus hijos y tiene un trabajo.
All right. As to the new felony charges, I'm going to order a $10,000 bond. It'll be cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted, monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial, no alcohol or illegal drugs, do not drive without a valid driver's license.
Bueno, respecto a las nuevas acusaciones por delito grave, voy a ordenar que se le fije fianza de $10,000 en efectivo y si usted deposita esa fianza va a quedar libre bajo la supervisión de los servicios previos al juicio y usted debe de seguir todas las indicaciones que ellos le den. Y voy a ordenar que usted no puede consumir bebidas alcohólicas ni drogas ilegales y usted no puede conducir un vehículo sin una licencia vigente. That's all right.
Preliminary hearing date is scheduled for January 27th, but that hearing is very likely not going to happen on that date. You'll get a hearing at a later date. So if you do post that bond, you need to make sure you're in touch with pretrial and with your attorney so that you know when to get to court.
Bueno, la audiencia preliminar, señor, está programada para el 27 de enero, pero muy probablemente no se lleve a cabo ese día. Luego quizás le den una fecha nueva. Si usted deposita la fianza y sale libre, tiene que estarse reportando con la agencia de los servicios previos al juicio y también con su abogado para que le dé la nueva fecha donde usted debe de comparecer ante un juez. All right. All right.
One moment, please.
Un momentito, por favor.
CR 2020, CR 22 005410. Okay, great. All right, on your probation violation out of justice court, I'm going to, Mr. Sal Huerta is representing you.
Bueno, en el caso que es por quebrantamiento de la libertad condicional, esa es a raíz o sale del Tribunal de Justicia y el señor Saúl Huerta se le nombra para representarla.
I'm going to order that you be held on a $500 cash or secured bond on that matter and order that you consume no alcohol or illegal drugs and that you do not drive without a valid driver's license.
Y en ese caso voy a ordenar que se le fije fianza de $500 en efectivo. Y voy a ordenar también que no puede consumir bebidas alcohólicas ni consumir sustancias ilícitas y tampoco puede conducir un vehículo sin una licencia vigente.
Okay, si pago los $500, ¿puedo salir bajo libertad o
So if I pay the $500 per bond, can I be released or what?
So you're being held on a $10,000 bond on the felony. So you would have to post that in addition to the $500 bond on your misdemeanor.
Bueno, señora, a usted se le fijó fianza de $10,000 por los delitos graves. Si usted deposita esos $10,000 más aparte los $500 que le fijé por los delitos menores, entonces sí.
Your hearing in Pima County Justice Court will be first at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Bueno, y la audiencia, su próxima audiencia va a ser en Pima County Justice Court, en el Tribunal de Justicia, el martes 21 de enero a la 1 de la tarde.
And then you'll get your hearing date in Superior Court on the felonies at a later date.
Y ahí en esa audiencia le van a dar la fecha para que comparezca en el Tribunal Superior por los delitos, por las acusaciones de delito grave.
You understand, ma'am?
¿Le queda claro, señora?
Sí, entonces si no tengo para pagar la fianza, ¿cuánto es el tiempo que tengo que estar aquí?
So if I don't have money to post the bond, how much time will I spend here?
I don't know that. I know that you're at least going to be there until your next hearing, but I would talk to your attorney about that.
Bueno, la verdad yo no lo sé eso, pero si usted no deposita la fianza, sí va a estar detenida hasta el tiempo de la próxima audiencia, pero usted necesita hablar con su abogado.
That's all, ma'am. You're excused.
Y es todo por hoy. Se puede retirar. Gracias.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fernandez. You're
Thank you,
excused.
Your Honor. Have a good day.
You too.
Who's the first to this? This.
First, yes.
Hi, sir. Can I get your full name?
Joshua Gutierrez.
Mr. Contreras, I am seeing you this morning on a number of different matters. You've got new felony charges of burglary in the first degree, possession of burglary tools, possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of narcotics, possession of dangerous drugs. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You've got counsel seated next to you for today's hearing. I'm also seeing you on warrants that you have out of justice court and city court. We will deal with those next. As to the felony charges, the state's asking for a $15,000 bond plus pretrial, given the allegations here, the prior history, and 6 out of 6 on the scales. Mr. Cam, you want to be heard?
Sure. I want to be heard to the PC for the Burg 1 charge. The only alleged weapon I could see was the nail bar, which from my personal experience is about a 6-inch long piece of metal that is used to pry nails. It would not be considered a dangerous instrument given the way it was being used. Minus this nail pry bar that was used to allegedly remove 2 planks of wood from the fence, there is no other deadly weapon or dangerous instrument that would be sufficient to prove the burglary 1 allegation.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I would state that a crowbar can easily be used as a deadly weapon. I'm sure there are plenty of cases showing that somebody was killed with a crowbar. An 8-inch piece of 3/4 inch or however much steel can easily be used to beat somebody over the head. Your Honor, this is a dangerous felon who has a history of armed robbery, ag robbery, and ag assault, and the 6 out of 6 speaks volumes for this case.
I'm
And I wasn't,
just,
I'm sorry, go Judge.
I'm going to deny the request to dismiss the burglary charge for no PC. I think that there's enough here for PC, but go ahead with your bond argument.
Oh, you're just asking the court to take notice of the fact that Mr. Contreras is a lifelong resident.
Thank you. All right. I will order a $7,500 bond. It'll be cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted, monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, do not return to the incident location. Preliminary hearing date is scheduled for January 27th, but sir, that hearing is very likely not going to happen on that date. You're going to get a hearing at a later date. So if you do post your bonds, you need to make sure that you're in touch with pretrial and with your attorney so that you know when to get to court. All right, so we also have a warrant out of Pima County Justice Court for a 2023 shoplifting charge and failure to appear. On that matter, I'm going to order release, but I'll note that you're in custody on the felony. Your hearing in Justice Court will be February 18th at 8:30 in the morning. If you are still in custody, they'll take you to a video hearing. If you're out of custody, you need to get to that hearing or a warrant will issue. And then on your city court warrants, we've got a shoplifting and assault from 2022 and shoplifting drug paraphernalia from 2023. Again, on those matters, I'll note that you're in custody on the felony. I'm going to release you on these misdemeanor charges, and we'll set a hearing in Tucson City Court for February 28th at 9 o'clock in the morning. If you are out of custody by that date, you need to get to that hearing. If you are still in custody, they'll have a non-transport review for you, and we will appoint the city public defender's office to represent you there. You understand all of that, sir?
Yeah.
All right, you're excused.
Houston.
Hi, sir. Can I get your full name?
Andrew Houston.
Mr. Houston, I am seeing you this morning on a couple of different matters. You've got new felony charges of theft of means of transportation and burglary in the 3rd degree. And then you've also got a warrant out of Justice Court that we will deal with next. As to these new felony charges, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And you've got counsel seated next to you for today's hearing. State is asking for a $5,000 bond plus pretrial services, given the extensive history of similar convictions. I'll hear from Mr. Cam.
Your Honor, requesting the state take into consideration Sheldon is a level 2 according to pretrial. This is a non-violent offense. He's been a resident of Tucson for 8 to 10 years, and he's employable as a mechanic.
Yes, sir.
I'll order a $2,500 bond. It'll be cash or secured, released to pretrial if that bond is posted. No contact of any kind with any alleged victims. And preliminary hearing date is scheduled for January 27th. But sir, that hearing is very likely not going to happen on that date. You'll get a hearing at a later date. So if you do post that bond, you need to make sure you're in touch with pretrial and with your attorney so that you know when to get to court. All right. And then I'm also seeing you on this old Justice Court warrant. This is for a trespass from 2019. I'm going to order that you be released on that, but I'll note you're in custody in case you don't bond out. Then they can take you to a video review hearing for that matter. That hearing in Justice Court is going to be February 28th at 10 o'clock in the morning. So if you are out of custody by that date, you need to make sure you get there. Otherwise, you'll have a video hearing, okay? And I'm ordering that you not return to that incident location. All right, sir, that's all. You're excused. Hi, ma'am. Can I get your full name?
Ms. Marquez.
Ms. Marquez, I am seeing you this morning on a charge of attempted auto theft. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you've got counsel seated next to you for today's hearing. It's like state is asking for a $10,000 bond plus pretrial services. There are 3 pending cases out of California, all involving similar accusations.
I haven't been to California in forever, so I don't understand how that can even happen.
That's what your history says here. And the allegation is also that you were asking people for a ride to California. So, Mr. Cam, I'll hear from you.
Your Honor, asking the court to take into consideration that Ms. Marquez is homeless, any bond you place on her will be a de facto no bond.
I'm going to order a $7,500 bond. It'll be cash or secured, released to pretrial services if posted. Don't return to the incident location, no contact with any alleged victims. And preliminary hearing date is scheduled for January 27th, but that hearing is very likely not going to happen on that date. You'll get a hearing at a later date. So if you do post the bond, you need to make sure that you're in touch with pretrial and with your attorney so that you know when to get to court. That's all for today, ma'am. You're excused.
Santiago? Yes. Or more, I'm sorry, more.
Hi, sir. Can I get your full name?
Martine Moore.
Mr. Moore, I am seeing you this morning on a number of different matters. You've got new felony charges of burglary in the 3rd degree and possession of drug paraphernalia. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And you've got counsel seated next to you for today's hearing. I'm also seeing you on a warrant out of Douglas Justice Court, where it looks like property damage. And then you've got a couple of warrants out of Tucson City. We'll deal with those misdemeanor matters next. As to the felony matter, the state is asking for a $5,000 bond plus pretrial services, given this history. I'll hear from defense.
We submit on pretrial services report.
Okay. All right, I'll order a $5,000 bond. It'll be cash or secured, released to pretrial services if posted, monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial, no alcohol or illegal drugs, do not go back to the incident location, and do not have any contact with any alleged victims. Preliminary hearing date is scheduled for January 27th, but sir, that hearing is very likely not going to happen on that date. You'll get a hearing at a later date. So if you do post your bond, you need to make sure you're in touch with pretrial and with your attorney so that you know when to get to court. All right, your Douglas Justice Court matter. I'm just gonna hold you on a $1,500 cash or secured bond, and you'll have a review hearing on that one to see what's happening with your local matters in a month. That'll be on February 17th at 9 o'clock. And then your city court warrants are for like failure to comply with a police officer from November 30th of 2024 and drug paraphernalia. Oh, nope, this is not him. So it looks like it's just the one out of Tucson City Court. All right, on that one, I'm going to order that you be released, but I'll note that you're in custody on the other matters. And so we'll set a hearing in Justice Court for February 28th at 9 o'clock in the morning. If you are out of custody, you need to get to that hearing. If you are still in custody, they will have a non-transport review for you on that date. All right, sir, you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You're excused.
Osvaldo? Answer?
Hi, sir, can I get your full name?
Osvaldo Santiago.
Is your first name Santiago, right?
Last name, Your Honor.
Well, we have that mixed up then.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Okay. His name is Oswaldo Santiago, not Santiago Osvaldo. You'll change it? Okay, I'll get out of there. All right, sir, so I am seeing you this morning on a felony charge of criminal damage and a misdemeanor DUI. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Can I get in there or should I wait? Okay. Oh. Give us just a second, sir. We're just fixing your name here. All right, so on the felony, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And you've got counsel seated next to you for today's hearing. State's asking for a $2,500 bond with pretrial services. I'm seeing no history at all. I'll hear from defense.
An arrest for release. Mr. Santiago has been just for 4 years. He's employed as an installer. Pretrial has him as a level 1. This is a non-violent allegation.
Mr. Poston, did you want to be heard any further?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to order release to pretrial services supervision. So, sir, you're going to need to make sure that you're checking in with pretrial services when you get released. I'm ordering monitoring or treatment as directed by them. No alcohol or illegal drugs, and do not drive without a valid driver's license. Do you understand those orders?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And then preliminary hearing date is scheduled for February 6th, but that hearing is very likely not going to happen on that date. You're going to get a hearing at a later date. So it's very important that you're in touch with pretrial and with your attorney so that you know when to get to court on your felony matter, or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And then you've also got this misdemeanor. They're going to be handled separately. The criminal damage is a felony that'll be handled out of Superior Court. The DUI is a misdemeanor that is going to be handled out of Justice Court. On that one, I'm going to order that you be released on your promise to appear in court. I'm going to give you a hearing that you do have to get to in Justice Court. That is February 18th at 8:30 in the morning. That's to deal with your DUI.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'm going to order those same release conditions. Do not drive without a valid driver's license, no alcohol or illegal drugs. And that will do it. All right. You're going to get paperwork with all of that information on it, sir, but just make sure you're in touch with pretrial and you get to your hearings. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You're excused.
Thanks.
Hi, sir. Can I get your full name?
What press?
Mr. Perez, I'm seeing you this morning on charges of prohibited possessor and resisting arrest. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I will appoint the legal defender's office to represent you. And you've got counsel seated next to you for today's hearing. State is asking for a $30,000 bond plus pretrial. And I see he's on felony probation right now, so there should be a probation hold, but it is not showing yet. But there's a history here, obviously. Mr. Cam, did you want to be heard?
Your Honor, just asking the court to consideration that Mr. Perez is a lifelong resident of Tucson. His mother reported that he can reside with her and she will also provide transportation.
I'll order a $15,000 bond. It'll be cash or secured and released to pretrial services if posted. But sir, I'm expecting the probation's going to put a hold on you here soon. So I wouldn't rush to post that bond yet. Monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. And preliminary hearing date is scheduled for January 27th, but that hearing is very likely not going to happen on that date. You'll get a hearing at a later date. So if you do end up out of custody, you need to make sure you're in touch with pretrial and with your attorney so you know when to get to court. You understand, sir?
Yes.
All right, you're excused. Hi, ma'am. Can I get your full name?
Andrew Julia Radu.
Ms. Radu, I'm seeing you this morning on a couple of different matters. You've got some new felony charges of dangerous drug for sale, possession of narcotic drug, and possession of drug paraphernalia. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I'm going to appoint the legal defender's office to represent you. You've got counsel seated next to you for today's hearing. I'm also seeing you on a warrant that you have out of Tucson City Court. We'll deal with that one next. On these new felony matters, the state is asking for $7,500 bond plus pretrial services. See, no felony criminal history, but some history of failure to appear and no known residents. I'll hear from Mr. Cam.
Your Honor, we're asking the court to consideration that this road has been in Tucson for somewhere around 5 years.
Okay. I'll order a $5,000 bond. It'll be cash or secured, released to pretrial services if posted. Monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. Preliminary hearing date is scheduled for January 27th. But ma'am, that hearing is very likely not going to happen on that date. You're going to get a hearing at a later date. So if you do post that bond, you would need to make sure that you're in touch with pretrial and with your attorney so that you know when to get to court. And then warrant out of Tucson City Court is for drug paraphernalia from 2023. And it was in warrant status for failure to appear. On that one, I'm going to order that you be released, but I'll note that you're in custody on the felony. We'll set a hearing in Tucson City Court on February 28th at 9 o'clock in the morning. If you were out of custody by that date, you would need to get to that hearing. If you're in custody, they'll have a non-transport review for you and we'll appoint the city public defender to represent you there. You understand, ma'am? All right, you're excused.
I was gonna ask you the possibility to do a drug diversion program.
Touch your attorney about that and touch your attorneys.
Okay. Thank you.
Singleton?
Hi, sir. Can I get your full name?
William Robert Singleton.
Mr. Singleton, I am seeing you on a few different matters. Let's see, you've got new felony charges, possession of a dangerous drug, possession of drug paraphernalia. And then you've got a warrant or warrants, it looks like 2 of them out of Maricopa County for drug charges as well. And then you've got a warrant out of Pima County Justice Court for shoplifting from January 1st of 2024. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. On the new felony charges, I'm going to order that the public defender be appointed, and you've got counsel seated next to you for today's hearing.
Ma'am.
Let's see. State is requesting a $7,500 bond plus pretrial services supervision. Given the history here, there was also a pretty significant amount of drugs. I'm surprised he wasn't charged with sales, but I'll hear from defense on that.
Your Honor, all I had seen was the Maricopa County warrant. Are you saying there's a Pima County case as well? I didn't see an IC on that.
Yep. It's yeah, it's a new one. It's just simple drug charges.
Okay, and is he steps eligible for that one?
No.
No,
He's not.
it's
Okay,
20 plus grams of meth.
okay. We'll submit to pretrial services recommendation, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I think you're not please go in there, but we gotta deal with this probation anyway.
All right, I'm gonna order in this new matter a $5,000 bond plus pretrial services. It'll be cash or secured monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. Preliminary hearing date is scheduled for January 27th. And then on the Maricopa County warrants,
I'm sorry, Judge, what was that bond again?
on the new drug charges, it's a $5,000 bond. Maricopa County, it looks like on one of the 2 warrants asked for a $1,250 bond. There's no, they wanted me to hold them no bond on the other one, but I can't do that. So I'll just order a $1,250 bond on both Maricopa County warrants, cash or secured. And so we'll set a review hearing in a month to see what's going on with the local matters. And so that'll be on February 17th at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then on this justice court matter, I'm going to order a $500 cash or secured bond. We will appoint Adam Waters to represent you in justice court. And you'll have a hearing on Tuesday the 21st at 1 o'clock to deal with that matter.
And then the Maricopa matters.
The Maricopa matters are basically just going to track your local matters. There's nothing, they can't come and pick you up until you're done with your local matters. And so you're being held on a $1,250 bond on that case. And then you will just do review hearings every 30 days until you're done with your local matters. Okay. All right, sir. You're excused.
Stuart?
Hi, sir. Can I get your full name?
Jason Alexander Stewart.
Mr. Stewart, I am on some new felony charges. They are all burglary in the 3rd degree charges. There's there's a number of different interim complaints. There are 2 charges on January 15th of 2022, and then January 15th of 2025, and then another one that's on its own interim complaint, and then a 4th one from that same date, a 5th one from that same date.
What was that big?
Oh, they're all actually January 15th. I thought they were from 2 different dates.
I think they're copies, Your Honor.
Okay. So
Your Honor, just to be clear, those aren't copies. If you look, there are 5 different victims and 5 different complaint numbers.
got it. Okay. So essentially you're charged, sir, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With 5 counts of burglary in the 3rd degree from different, with involving different victims. And I believe it was over 2 days, the 15th and the 16th. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you've got counsel seated next to you for today's hearing. And then I'm also seeing you on a warrant out of Sahuarita. Sorry, this is a new charge. These are new charges out of Sahuarita for, never seen this charge before, operating a mechanism while vehicle unattended. Looks like 3 counts from yesterday. All right, we'll deal with the misdemeanor charges next. As to the felony charges, state's asking for a $15,000 concurrent bond, plus pretrial services supervision. And seeing a extensive history of similar charges. I'll hear from defense.
I will submit pretrials.
Right, I'll make it a $10,000 bond concurrent on all of the felony matters. Cash or secured release to pretrial services. If that bond is posted, do not go back to the incident locations. Okay. And preliminary hearing date is scheduled for January 27th, but that hearing is very likely not going to happen on that date. You'll get a hearing at a later date. So if you do post these bonds, you need to make sure that you get to, that you're in touch with pretrial and with your attorney so that you know when to get to court. All right, and then on the Sahuarita matter. I will order a $500 cash or secured bond on those matters. I'll appoint Stan Fitzgerald to represent you in Sahuarita. And your hearing will be on Tuesday by video if you're still in custody at 3:00 in the afternoon. If you were to post your bond, you would need to get to Sahuarita Municipal Court on that date, or warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you're excused.
Tina?
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Can I get your full name?
Okay, yes, Tina Espin.
Mr. Zatina Espin, I'm seeing you this morning on a charge of aggravated DUI for having a suspended license. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You've got counsel seated next to you for today's hearing. Let's see, I'm seeing state's asking for a $7,500 bond plus pretrial services. And I'm seeing that he is on probation for a felony matter. But no probation hold quite yet. Mr. Cam?
Your Honor, I'm asking that the court dismiss the ag DUI charge. The officer indicated ag DUI suspended. However, in the statement of offense, Your Honor, the officer gave no indication that Mr. Zatina Espin's license was actually suspended, just it was a misdemeanor DUI.
So the officer that's here that read the interim complaints to me was able to go back and look at the reports and hand wrote in that, in fact, his license was suspended. Sorry, I didn't let you know that ahead of time. So given that, you have a, yeah, all right. I'm going to order a $7,500 bond. It'll be cash or secured, released to pretrial if posted. Do not drive without a valid driver's license, no alcohol or illegal drugs, monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial. But yeah, I expect, sir, that you're going to end up with a probation hold here pretty quickly. So I wouldn't rush to post that bond. And preliminary hearing date is scheduled for January 27th. All right, that's all, sir. You're excused. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.